back to another episode of Cooking More. I'm your host, Matt, and today we'll be making sushi. Now let's take a look at the ingredients we'll be using today. So over here we have the sushi powder vinegar, and then we have the roasted seaweed. We have our rice that we'll be using. We'll have the seasoned bean curd, our wasabi, and then we have our pickled daikon, which is basically a radish. We have two different types of sesame seeds. We have the white and the black sesame seeds. And we have our vegetables. So we have our scallions, our carrots, our cucumbers, radishes, and avocados. And the reason I'm dressed up is because I wanted you to see how I look when I'm working at my world-famous restaurant in Japan. Let's get started with the rice. So right now, we're boiling our rice. And once that's done cooking, we're going to add our seasoning, which will give us our sushi rice. And that's what we will use when wrapping the sushi. So in this next step, we just want to sprinkle a tablespoon of the seasoning onto the rice so it's spread out. And then basically we want to fold it over the rice. So we'll keep adding it as we're doing it. Stop. So the cucumber will be for the cucumber rolls, which will be cucumber, the nori, which is the seaweed, and the sushi rice. So in this step, we're going to cut the cucumbers for the cucumber rolls. And so right here is what they're going to look like. So pretty much we're going to cut it in half lengthwise and then cut it vertically like this. So we'll start with this one. And then we'll take this, we'll flip it this way, and then we'll make the vertical cuts. That'll give us our matchstick pieces. This step we're cutting the daikon, so we just want it to be cut into matchstick pieces like this. So we'll just get it cut like that, and then these bigger pieces we'll have to cut into multiple smaller pieces. Alright, so now we're going to make the inari sushi, and what we did was we took the packet of seasoned and fried soybean curd, and so in this step we're going to make the inari sushi. And so what we did here was we took the seasoned and fried soybean curd out of the packet, and we put it in the bowl, and we took some of the rice and put it into this bowl here, and we applied the right seasonings to both. So it would give them flavor. And so what you want to do is first soak your hand, because the rice is sticky. You don't want it completely sticking to your hand. So you take one of these, and that's the phone. You take one of these and you carefully open it because it's pretty fragile. And so you kind of cup it in your hand, like so. And then take a small amount of rice and you put it inside. And so then, once you get that, you place it, and oh crap. You take some of the sesame seeds, let me fix that. And you take some of the sesame seed and sprinkle it on the top. Okay, so this is the finished product of the Inari sushi. There's a little bit of the garnish on the side just for visual effect, and it's usually served with soy sauce and wasabi, which is basically just powder mixed with water. You can take a little bit of the wasabi and form a little ball. I'll get a little more here. That one. So this is the ball of wasabi. You can just put it on the spoon and then make little indents. Okay, so the next type of sushi we're gonna make, for our ingredients, we have the rice, we have the seaweed, the wasabi. It's a different kind of wasabi, it's more of a soupy kind. And then we have the daikon and the avocado. And we have some water here on the side, just to keep the rice from sticking to your hands. And also, with your knife, you want to keep it moist too because it makes it easier to cut. So we're going to start by getting our hands moist, and then basically you want a line. Okay, so this is called a California roll, and it's supposed to have crab in it, but we're not adding the crab into it, so it's just going to have the avocado and the daikon. And so you take some of your rice and you want to make a line. I did. So after you moisten your hands, you get the rice, and then you sort of mold it like this and put it right here. And you want to do that all the way down. Okay. Just put it on. It's a little messy, but it'll all come together when you roll it. And then get a little more. Okay. So you get all the rice here. And then you want to take your wasabi and basically make a line all the way down. So you get it on all of the rice. Make it spread out so it's not too spicy. More spice. That's always good. And then after you get the wasabi, let me wipe my hands, take the roll, and you fold it over once, and then you don't want to press it down too much because it'll all mush together, and you get it in kind of like a circular shape, and you bring it out, and then you want to roll up the rest by hand. Make sure you get your fingers under it to make it nice and tight, but not too tight. You want it to all hold together. And that's your roll. So now you're going to saw through a little bit just to get through the seaweed. I sawed through the seaweed, and you press down on the rice, and then you want to kind of crunch through the seaweed at the other end. And then now we're going to cut these into quarters, and so I'm going to cut right through, and then make sure the nori crunches. So we have our two quarters facing opposite ways. So then we put a slice of daikon right in the middle. And then we put our piece of avocado down. We want to make it even all the way across. Good. So I can stack the rice like this on that side. And then you don't want to press it down too much because it'll all mush together, and you get it in kind of like a circular. Okay.
And again, do the same thing.
So it's all rolled up. So take it out like that. Move this to the cutting board. Move this aside. Make sure your knife is nice and damp, and cut it right through. Okay. And steak like, yeah, that's what it should look like. Alright, so this is our final product, and now we'll move to our third and final type of sushi. So this is the fish we're going to use for the last type of sushi. We have salmon and we have tuna, and these are some of the pieces that have already been cut up. So we're just going to cut a couple of the pieces, and you don't want it to be too thin or too thick. So you just want to get a nice angle. And that piece right there looks pretty good. So you just want to do that for the whole piece of the fish. So this last kind is pretty simple. You just get your hands wet, and then you get some rice, make it into a ball shape, like so. So you don't want it to be too big, so I'll take some of it out. That seems like a good size. And then you just want to take a piece of fish, lay it over, sort of indent it into the rice, but not too much. And then I'll put that right over here. And that's basically the last kind. Alright, so to sum it all up, we have our inari rolls here, and then we have our cucumber rolls next to the rice balls with fish, and lastly we have the California rolls. So that's it for this episode. Hope you've enjoyed, and stay classy.